What is going on, everyone? It is Tal, and I'm bringing you week 2 of CNL season 10. After a huge victory last week, winning 5-0 off the back of Screamtail, we go into this match against Jam in the Jamity Square, and they have a really strong team. Starting off with Iron Boulder with that Sharpness and Queenly Majesty. Sharpness boosting up those Mighty Cleaves as well as like Sacred Sword. Queenly Majesty stops priority moves. Our team doesn't have a lot of priority, though, so that is also something of note going into this match. Tingaloo is a really, I can't say really enough, bulky mon, and especially with the Fluffy ability. But it also gets Regenerator, so if it wants to be switching in and out, can set up hazards like Stealth Rock and Spikes, but then also Ruination, Throw Chop, Earthquake, can be an Assault Vest Fluffy set if he really wants to. Not sure if he really wants to bring Fluffy into a Hisuian Arcanine, but also Tingaloo is good into Hisuian Arcanine either way. Primarina can either be a little bit more bulky with that Stamina ability or a little bit more offensive with the Sheer Force ability, possibly a Sheer Force Life Orb set with like Moonblast and some other moves if it wants to run some different Water Stab as well, Surf Scald. So going to be interesting. I kind of expect the Stamina to come out here just because of some of the threats we have on our team that could be physically inclined, like the Hisuian Arcanine, like a physical Blastoise or Landorus. Moltres is a mon that I don't really see coming, but definitely could to stop Primordial Sea on the Archaludon. So it definitely could come out. Could be Magic Guard if he thinks we're going to set up rocks with a mon like Screamtail, Arcanine, or Landorus, or even Registeel. Iron Crown is a really strong special threat, has that tinted lens, so it can get really strong damage into the Archaludon or Zapdos or Blastoise even. Hadron Engine is also just really strong. I don't see the Hadron Engine coming out though, just because of all of our really strong Electric Stab, and I think he may want to stop that in other ways. One of the ways he can stop some of the Electric Stab is that Serena, Grassy Surge, and Refrigerate. I would expect the Grassy Surge for priority into mons like our Landorus and our Blastoise if it really wants to. Refrigerate is okay here, good into the Zapdos, but I think you just run Triple Axle at that point. Infernape could either be really strong with that adaptability with Flare Blitzes and close combats, or if he really is expecting some water moves like moves on the Blastoise or like a Weather Ball or something on the Zapdos, he could bring that Water Absorb and could be something really interesting. The next three I also just don't see coming, but could. Kilowattrel could be really strong with that Beads of Ruin, but also the Primordial Sea if he thinks we're going to bring something like Desolate Land on the Landorus, or if he just wants to have his own Primordial Sea for Weather Ball, Hurricane, Thunder shenanigans. Swalot is the mon on the latter half of this list that I actually do see coming. Prankster Swalot does a lot of damage, just not a lot of damage into us, but it is just kind of a pain for a lot of our mons to deal with, as well as can be a wall for Screamtail. The Screamtail Pixelate with Specs is something we really can't bring, mostly because of the Moltres, the Crown, and that Swalot. Actually eats up the hits really well. Earth Eater he could bring for the Landorus. I don't see it coming as much when Prankster is just so good into our team. And then the final one is Drifloon, which I can also see possibly coming, just not as likely as some of the other mons. He does have 3 flying type mons on this team, so don't see it coming as much, especially when we have an Hisuian Arcanine, which could run Magic Guard, Headlong, or Head Smash. Drifblim has the Volt Absorb and the Tablets of Ruin. If he was to bring it, it would be that Volt Absorb because of the Zapdos and the Electric Shot on the Archaludon. So it could definitely come, but I think of the latter half of this team, I think Swala is most likely to come. I kind of am expecting Boulder, Tingaloo, Primarina, Swalot, probably Serena Crown or something like that. Maybe instead of Serena, you bring the Moltres or the Infernape or the Kilo. But I think he really could bring any 6 of these mons, and they could be pretty good. I have faced every single one of these mons in mocks, and each of them have given me problems in different ways. I think the mon that gave me the least amount of trouble was Drifblim. Even with the Volt Absorb, I don't think it's that big of a deal. It does make me have to play a little bit different, but we will see. So, going into this match, I actually tried out almost every single mon on this team. I think the only one I actually didn't mock with was Muck, but I did test out every single mon. I think even Muck I made a couple sets for, but I'm not ending up bringing. So first mon we are bringing here is going to be our Zapdos. We're going to be a Choice Scarf variant this week with that Weather Ball and Drizzle. This hits really hard into the Boulder and the Tingaloo. Can kind of throw them off because usually you wouldn't really be expecting Zapdos to outspeed a Boulder and then hit you with a Weather Ball, so it could be really big on that end. Also could hit Tingaloo for super effective. We are Scarf to outspeed Mons like the Boulder, like the Crown. I think we have enough speed to outspeed a max speed Crown. We also can hit the Infernape pretty hard. Kilowattrel doesn't have Volt Absorb anymore due to this format, so we can hit it really hard with a Thunder. I do expect Moltres, or sorry, Zapdos to be a really big part of this game. If he does bring the Moltres, then we have to be a little bit more cautious about how we click moves like the Thunder, but we could probably freely click stuff like the Volt Switch. So if Moltres does come, I don't see it coming. But if it does, going to be a little bit of a pain on some of those aspects, but almost max speed, max special attack, and a little bit into HP and defense, just so that we can take hits a little bit better, but we are basically max speed, max special attack. Really want to catch him off guard. Probably a late game on is going to be the Zapdos. I anticipate that we're going to bring this in the late game. Kind of surprise him. Primarina is a really big issue for this team, so being able to get a big Thunder off and possibly 1 or 2 hit KO that mon is really, really big. Next mon we are bringing is an Expert Belt Screamtail. Really did want to bring Specs into this week. It is really good, but mons such as that Moltres and the Swallow kind of damper everything. It is really hard to spam Boom Burst into this team, even though it is really good in the most mons. Thunderbolt is there mostly just for the Moltres, and as well as the Flamethrower just there for the Iron Crown. That is basically the only reason we have those two moves. We are a ton of speed here, enough speed to outspeed a max speed Infernape. We're basically going to be clicking Boom Burst constantly unless we anticipate the Swallow to come in. Then we can click the Psychic. I don't really anticipate us spamming really any other move but the Boom Burst. It does kind of suck because I would, he could bring a bunch of mons that don't resist the Boom Burst and it was free. But I think after last week and what Screamtail did with Specs, he's probably going to want to bring the Crown and a Moltres, or just the Crown at least, and maybe the Swallow. You need at least 1 or 2 resistances going into each week for this mon, and so I think he's going to bring some resistances, and I think because we're not going to be running the Specs, it could maybe catch him a little bit off guard with that Flamethrower or that Psychic into those 2 resists. Third mon we are bringing into this week is the debut of Blastoise. Actually, really didn't want to bring it in this week. I don't think it is that great into the matchup. The only thing, though, is that I kind of have to bring it because of the Ting-Lu. We're not running boots on any mon this week, so I kind of have to run a lot of hazard control, and that hazard control that we have on this team is Blastoise. We're not running boots, so we do need the rapid spin on the Blastoise. Not a mon I really wanted to bring, but we're gonna deal with it this week. We are very specially defensive to take hits from that Primarina. We also got the Mirror Coat, kind of catch him off guard, maybe take a Moonblast and 1-hit KO him with the Mirror Coat. Can take hits pretty well from the Kilowattrel, even though it is super effective, but can take hits from the Moltres, from the Crown. It's going to be our answer into the Crown almost every single time. Can go in, flip turn, get out. We have Haze for stuff like the Primarina or the Crown if he really wants to start setting up. This is going to be our special wall. Can't really KO those mons unless he hits us hard and when we go for a Mirror Coat, but we have the rapid spin, and, you never know what's going to happen with any of those mons. We are regenerators, so we can go in, take a hit, flip turn, and get some momentum, and also be healed up. Fourth mon we are bringing is the same exact set that we brought last week into Beal. We are bringing the Umbreon here, Rocky Helmet, Fluffy. This is our answer into the Boulder. A Sacred Sword cannot 2-hit KO us on a max attack Boulder, which is really huge. Even with the sharpness, we take hits so well. Toxic Wish, Baton Pass, Power Play could 1-hit KO the Boulder in a lot of circumstances. Toxic is really good for that Ting-Lu, the Primarina, and the Moltres. Kind of just catch him off guard. Swallow will be a big answer into this, but also we are a big answer into the Swallow. Because of the Prankster and our Dark typing, he cannot do any Prankster shenanigans into our Umbreon. So a ton of defense, a ton of special defense is going to be our physical wall for this week. Come in on mons like that Boulder, like the Ting-Lu, like the Swallow, and then get out of there with the Baton Bass, maybe a Wish into another mon and the Foul Play. Landorus is going to come up next. We are running a Life Orb. No Sheer Force. We are not Sheer Force, of course. But we are going to be running the Area Light. Really wanted to run a physical set this week, but due to some mons, specifically mons like the Ting-Lu, I really couldn't run a physical set. So we're going to be running a special variant of Landorus this week. Terra Blast, Earth Power, Sludge Bomb, and Grass Knot. Primarina is a big reason why we're running this special set because of Sludge Bomb, and as the Ting-Lu, because of Fluffy, as well as how much damage Grass Knot can do. We can kind of catch him off guard with a Grass Knot, and then, 2-hit KO him. We one-hit KO an Iron Crown. We have a ton of speed here to outspeed a max speed Iron Crown. Grass Knot is huge into the Primarina and the Ting Lu, and just Earth Power is huge into the Swala, into the Boulder, Infernape, Crown, and so on. Sludge Bomb is basically just there for the Primarina, but also does really big damage into the Serena. Basically makes it so if I have a 50-50 mind game, I can click one that's a little bit better of a middle ground. And the final mon we are bringing, the mon I'm most excited for this week, is our Cacturne. We are running Grassy Surge, Grassy Glide Cacturne. It is super good into this matchup. Now, you may be saying, hey, the Boulder has Queenly Majesty. Grassy Surge, Grassy Glide isn't going to be great in this matchup. My thoughts on that is that I really don't think he's going to bring Queenly Majesty. The only priority we have on this team is actually the Cacturne. Except for like some other stuff, maybe like Prankster on the Umbreon, but again, you're not really staying in on the Umbreon anyways, so I don't really think he's going to bring the Queenly Majesty. I think Sharpness is so much better into our team because of how much damage it does into stuff like the Zapdos and the Archaludon with Sacred Sword and Mighty Cleave. So I think he's going to bring that. This mon does huge damage, can one-shot the Boulder. Sucker Punch can one-shot the Crown. We can basically just click, click, click. This is a mon that's going to come in near the end game probably, or maybe in the middle game, kind of catch him off guard. I think people may forget, Cacturne has a base 115 attack and special attack stat. So it is ridiculous. And with Grassy Surge, Grassy Glide, we're going to be doing so much damage. Huge priority. A little bit of speed here. We outspeed a no speed investment Primarina. Do I see that really coming up? Probably not. But still, if it comes down to it, I'd rather have the extra little bit of speed. If we don't have Grassy Surge up, we need to click Seed Bomb. Hopefully he doesn't have any defense or speed investment, but that is going to be it. We have this kind of weird HP stat so that Life Orb can do, we have a base 9 in the HP department, so that Life Orb will do the minimum amount to us and we get an extra turn. So that is going to be the team for this week. I am so excited to try out Cacturne. I'm on that, I didn't really think I was going to be that excited for going into this draft, but as everything has kind of progressed and looking at this matchup, I think this is the best matchup for it in the entire league, and I think it's going to do really well. So that is a team builder for this week. If you like these, please let me know. Like, comment, subscribe. If you like these instead of having the other ones as well, I know this one's a little bit shorter. This one's about 12, 13 minutes, while the other one was about 20 minutes. So let me know what you think. And yeah, we will see you guys tomorrow for week 2 of CNL Season 10. Peace out, everybody.